So hi guys, I welcome you all to today's session. This is day one Microsoft Sentinel training. My name is Mohammad Shaurkh, so I'll be your trainer throughout this course. A small intro about myself. So I have a total of currently now 8 years of experience into the cybersecurity domain. I have worked on multiple different tools, ArcSight, Splunk, QRadar, and now I'm working on the Sentinel tool itself. So yeah, I worked in SIM operations. I worked in incident response, the content development, the use case creation, threat hunting part as well, and also the SIM administration and implementation. So these all are the domains I worked on. Um, so this is about my professional career, and if my training experience is concerned, now I have a total of more than 3+ years into the training domain. I've been teaching Splunk since you can say more than 3 years now. So I've been attached with Intellipath Institute. I've been attached with SSTN Institute. I've delivered weekend trainings as well as corporate trainings to TCS, HCLs, and a number of clients. This is all about Splunk. Sentinel is a very new tool, so I think it's there in the market since 2020. So I've been teaching Sentinel now for more than 1+ years. Trained across more than I think so 100+ students now on Sentinel. So this is all about me. So with this, let's start the course. So the agenda will be I have kept it short today, so I have keeping it 1 hour only. So going forward, I'll try to increase it to 1.5 hours maximum, not more than that. So the today's agenda will be I'll be giving you a brief overview of the syllabus, what all things we are going to cover, what all important aspects, important topics are there. Then I'm going to give you an introduction to the Azure environment, and then we are going to see what is Sentinel, why Azure Sentinel, and stuff. So the total duration of this course will be 12 to approximately 16 hours. It depends on you guys how you are grasping the topic. Obviously, it can stretch more, but it can be completed early as well, completely depending. So in this course, just one second. So in this course, this course is having two parts. First part is the Microsoft Sentinel, and the second part is the Defender for Endpoint. I hope you have heard about Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. It is the EDR solution from Microsoft. So the second part, the Defender for Endpoint, is short, approximately 1 to 1.5 hours is enough to complete. Coming to the first part, the Microsoft Sentinel. In this syllabus, we are going to cover the Azure Sentinel in detail, the comparison between the traditional SIEM solution and the cloud native SIEM, that is the Microsoft Sentinel. Why we are going ahead, why the market is burning for the Sentinel, why everyone is behind Sentinel. All these aspects we are going to see. We are also going to discuss in detail about the licensing part. I think, not I think, but I've seen this other tools, Splunk, QRadar, Upside. They are not clearly open with the pricing, the licensing, how they are going to charge the license. But in Sentinel, Microsoft, it's very clear. I'm going to show you that aspect as well. Then we are going to see the KQL language, or we also call it as the Kusto query language. It is the language used by Microsoft to search the data across its different devices. Not only Microsoft Sentinel, but if you go for EDR solution or any other, most of the cloud native solution in Microsoft, they are using the KQL. So there is a session of more than 2+ hours on this KQL. We are going to dig deeper into the KQL. I'll be showing you, I'll be giving you some examples, some scenarios through which we will be searching our data into the Microsoft portal. Then we are going to see the watch list option. Basically, we are going to see the watch list part. Watch list is like, I hope you have heard about in Splunk, there are lookups. In QRadar, there are reference sets, and in ArcSight, there are active lists. So these are SIEM solutions, SIEM tools. So similarly, in Sentinel, there are watch lists. So watch lists to hold some data. For example, there are some malicious IP addresses that we want to check our logs with, whether the 10 IP addresses that I have, whether they are appearing in my logs. So you can hold them into the watch list. Yes, we are going to see in detail, so don't worry about it. So we'll see step by step. We are going to take baby steps, and then we will be seeing in detail. Then the data collection, we are going to onboard some of the Linux logs also. I'll be showing you other different ways as well. What all are the different ways to onboard the data? So then the visualization part, the dashboard creation, basically we will be creating some dashboard based on our data. Then I'm also going to showcase you the correlation rules. So guys, one thing to note here, in Microsoft Sentinel, it's you can see if you are going to log in there into the Microsoft Sentinel, you can see their correlation rules. Most of the correlation rules are open. You can see them, you can research on them. So they have kept the interface very user friendly. Okay. In some other tool like Splunk or some other tool, you have to look for the query, you have to go online search for it. But in Microsoft Sentinel, everything is available for you. So it's very user friendly. Once I will go to the portal, I'll show it to you. Then we are going to have some out of the box detection and the custom threat detection rules. I'll be also showcasing you how to write a detection rule. I'll be giving you 2 or 3 examples where we will be going through a scenario and we will be writing our own rule, as well as I'll try to execute the kind of not attack. I'll try to execute the actions in the Sentinel, and we'll see how this our customized use case will trigger. Then we are going to see the threat investigation tab. Basically, if there is a, for example, any alert trigger, how the threat investigation tabs work, what all are the different options, what is the investigation graph, all those stuff. I'm also going to showcase you the SOAR part as well, guys. This is SOAR is beautiful. I don't know whether you guys have heard about SOAR or not. So right now we have multiple tools in the market for the SIEM solution. For example, ArcSight is there, Splunk is there, QRadar is there. Okay, Sentinel is one of the latest one, and you can say one of the advanced tool in the market. So now Sentinel is being used as a SIEM solution. What I mean by SIEM is, you can see here, security information and event management. Basically, we are monitoring our events, and we are triggering an alert whenever we see a situation happening or whenever we see an attack happening. That is what a SIEM is. Now, if we go to the next level, so what these companies are doing, these companies are going for the automation part. Okay. Previously, for example, for a particular project, there is a SIEM team implemented. Okay, SIEM is implemented there. SOC team, we call it SOC team as well. There are around 15 people, correct? Incidents are triggering, people are working on the incident, closing them, raising it on service now to different teams, assigning it to the different team. So a number of people are working there. Okay, now automation is coming into the picture. So now what we are looking is we are automating the response part as well. We are automating the response. For example, if an alert trigger, this Sentinel has the capability to automatically investigate an alert. If you want to close the alert as well on the go, for example, I can write a SOAR rule that, okay, if you see this IP, if you see the connection from this source port to this destination IP to this destination port, close the alert, it's legitimate. Or if you see any kind of brute force login from an admin account, if I want to whitelist that admin account, I don't want to trigger an alert, I can write a SOAR rule that, okay, if you see an alert triggering from this particular username, close it on the go. You don't have to do anything. So these all are some of the aspects I'm talking, but this is the SOAR. We are automating our response part as well. Previously, there are a team of 15 people, 20 people doing the repetitive task again and again. Now we have SOAR into the picture, so we don't need a big team of 15 people. A team of 8 people or 9 people to run the operations is enough now. And in Microsoft Sentinel, this SOAR capability is inbuilt. We have this capability inbuilt into this SOAR. But if we look for other tools, for example, Splunk is there. Splunk is being used as a SIEM solution. If you want the SOAR capability, the automation of the incident response, you need a separate Phantom. They are selling the SOAR solution as Phantom. You need a separate instance of Phantom. You need to install it and then connect it. So an override is there. Similarly, if you have heard about Cortex XOR, so it is again an incident response solution, automatic incident response. So these all are some of the solution. But what good we have in Sentinel is we have the SOAR capability. We call them logic apps, okay, and playbooks. So these all are some of the aspects that we are going to learn in this course. So guys, before proceeding forward, any doubts? Are we good till now? I see a lot of people joining today. Over to you guys. Any doubts as of now? Are we good with the syllabus? Are we clear?
Yes, from my side.
Yeah, Shaurkh from my side.
Yes, Shaurkh.
Mohammad Faisal, you are good.
Yes.
Shivam, are we good?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Shaurkh, we can move forward here.
Before starting Sentinel, I'm not sure how many of you have gone through the Microsoft Sentinel. Guys, anyone who knows Microsoft well, this Microsoft Azure portal, or everyone is new Microsoft portal as well? No issues. So let's start from scratch, guys. One more thing, there is no prerequisite to this course that you know that you should know this and that. There is nothing like that. I'll be teaching you from scratch, so don't worry, sit back, relax, and just follow these steps that I'm taking. Just follow them, and if you have any questions, just ask me anywhere. Okay, now let's talk about some of the basic things. If we are going for Microsoft Sentinel, there are three important things that you should know. So you can see on my screen Azure subscription, resource group, and resources. So when you launch a Microsoft account, Microsoft Azure account, Azure subscription is the main thing. That is where your billing is getting created. So in simple, just imagine it as a billing part. So if I go to the next view, give you more fair idea. Yeah, this is this one. So this is the part I'm talking. Subscription. Whenever you are launching a Microsoft account, if you are into a trial version, you will have a free subscription assigned there. But for example, if you are in an organization, okay, there is, for example, HCL is there. Okay, they have a Microsoft account. There are multiple teams. Their DevOps team is there, security operations team is there, network security team is there. A number of teams are there. HR department is there. Now everyone is using some Microsoft resources. They have their VM machines, database, and things. So what I want is, as a management front, or as the CEO of HCL, I want that the billing of each team should be separate, so that I know, okay, how much money they are spending or I'm spending on each team. So for example, this is HR department. Okay, I can create a subscription named as HR department, and I can create all the resource group resources under it. So I'll get a bill separately for HR department. Similarly, I can create a subscription for you can say the SOC team. Okay, and I can launch the resources, the VM machine, the Microsoft Sentinel, a number of things inside this container. You can think of it as a container. Subscription is a bigger container. Inside it, you can launch resource group resources, a number of things. So subscription, just understand and correlate it with the billing. Second thing is, guys, I hope I'm not going too fast. Just let me know if I'm speaking.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Next thing is the resource group. So resource group, you can imagine them as a container basically. Okay. For example, you can see the resources. There can be VM machines. Okay, launched as a resource. There can be databases there. A number of resources. Sentinel also is a resource. Log analytics workspace is there. So these all are called resources. So to group them together, we have this resource group. So you can think of as a container basically. Okay, for example, under this HR department, you can think of it as I'm running an HR department in South Asia, for example. I'm just giving an example. So and there is one more department in US. So I can create separate two resource group under this subscription, and I can launch the resources under it separately. Okay, so these are getting built separately. Sorry, these are grouped separately. With the South Asia resource I can see here, and the US resource I can see here. So resource group, you can think of as a logical container. You can have it location wise, region wise, or for example, if you have 3 or 4 applications, there are multiple resources under that application. You can create a resource group application wise as well. It depends on. Uh, One beautiful example or good example that I found helpful in Microsoft is, I'm just sharing a personal experience. In AWS, if I'm launching resources, for example, if I'm launching the VM machines, you have at the top, you have an option of selecting the region, Mumbai region, or some other region. So there I just, in the beginning, I found it very uncomfortable, or you can say very hard. So if I'm launching some resource in Mumbai region, VM machine in in Mumbai region in AWS, and if I change my region, I find it very hard to find that machine. Okay, how many machines I have in Mumbai region, or I have in some other region. That is where I found it very difficult. But in Microsoft, in Microsoft Azure, what is happening here? I have a subscription. I have resource group here. Okay, if I don't want this particular location, or for example, I launched a test environment here, test resource group. I can just name it test resource group. I've launched a number of machines inside. Now, after a certain amount of time, I'm done with this. Okay, I don't want this test environment. I just come here. Instead of deleting each and every machine, I can just completely delete this resource. That is more convenient to me, correct? And I can, if I'm looking at a very high perspective as well, if I have multiple resource group as well, and I want to see, okay, how many resources I'm using under that use resource group, I can just come here and just check out the resource. Don't worry, I'll take you to the portal as well. I'm just giving a high level information so that you guys understand. So resource group, you can think of it as a container. It can be a location based container as well. You can choose a particular location for all the resources that are present in South Asia region should be under this South Asia resource group, or you can have it based on your understanding application wise. The last thing is the resources. That's where you can launch the different kind of resources into the Azure, the VM machines, the database, Microsoft Sentinel, a number of things, a number of resources are there. So these are the resources. One more thing at the top, you can see the management group. I'm not sure whether you have heard about it much or not. So this management group, you can think of it as a management having a control over the environment that you are launching. What I mean by this is, suppose, just let's take an example. This is the SOC team. Okay, so there is a subscription there. There are a number of people that can launch. There are around 15 people under the SOC team that can launch different kind of resources. Now, in this 15 team, there is one disgruntled employee who is having some not good feeling with the organization. He wants to take some revenge from his boss. So what he can do, he can launch very bigger instances here, correct? He can launch very bigger VMs so that the billing to this SOC subscription can be higher, so that the company has to pay more. You can launch a number of services, a number of bigger VMs, so that the charging on the subscription is high. So how to control it? Basically, I can control it through the management. I can push a policy that this SOC guys, they can launch this limit of VM. For example, I can say 10 GB of VM. They can launch this 10 GB of VM service. They can, if they have to launch a database service, they can launch. Again, I can put some restriction to limit through the management. So that is where this is
It's
useful.
just like limitation. You can set the limit to lock sizing and these things, right? That you
Not
can
log
only
sizing
process this
specifically.
much of
You have to,
you can utilize this much of resources
yes,
for this.
yes, kind of, yeah, kind of. You can think of it as management is having a overhead on you. They are checking everything. Put some restriction on the billing part, or based on their understanding. So to put some restriction to the subscription and the users, we are using this management. And not only this, guys, there are HIPAA policies, HIPAA compliance. There, I hope you have heard about it. HIPAA compliance. If you are in, I think, health industry, there are some regulations, standards that you have to match. So HIPAA compliance, you have to push. You can push it through the management group itself. HIPAA compliance, PSI, DSS, and other things. So this is a high level overview. Okay, we talked much about this thing, the basics of Microsoft. Let's talk about Microsoft Sentinel. Now, what is a Microsoft Sentinel? I hope the first thing that I want to explain is the SIEM is a separate domain. We call it Security Information and Event Management. Okay, under it, what we are doing, I'm just explaining in layman language. I'm not using any technical jargons, guys. Under SIM solution, under SIM domain, what we are doing, we are ingesting logs from a particular organization. For example, there is an organization X. I am simply telling all the devices in this organization, or whatever devices there in the cloud, on premise, wherever their devices is, I'm just simply telling them, boss, whatever devices are there, just forward the logs to the central location where I have my SIM solution is placed. SIM is a domain. Okay, I hope you understand. A number of devices forwarding logs to the SIM solution. And SIM solution can be anything. It can be, there are multiple tools. ArcSight is there, Splunk is there, QRadar, Logarithm, a number of tools are there. Microsoft Sentinel is one of them. Now, one important thing, what is different in Microsoft Sentinel? Microsoft Sentinel is completely into the cloud. You don't have to launch a separate instance, then install the application there. No, nothing like that. It's there into the cloud. I'll show you how to launch anything. I'm just doing it easy way. Now, we have this Microsoft Sentinel solution, which is being used as a SIEM solution majorly, plus it has the SOAR capability as well. What I mean by SOAR is security orchestration, automated and response. Now, what happened in SIEM solution? What is happening in the SIEM solution till now? We are onboarding all our data. Data is coming into the SIEM solution. It is getting monitored. On the SIEM solution, we are creating dashboards, reports, as well as we are creating alerts. Alerts are getting triggered. We have a SOC team. SOC team is sitting there. They are working on the incidents. Okay, a brute force login is happening at a particular location. Let's create a ticket and assign it to the Windows team, for example. There is an alert triggered, for example, malware found on this particular machine. They are again sitting, SOC team is sitting at the SIEM solution. They are saying, okay, a malware has been found. Let's create a ticket and assign to the endpoint team. They will be looking into it. Okay. Or let's suppose an example, we are observing some suspicious connection from some malicious IP address. Some connection is happening from malicious IP address towards our organization. Okay, as a SIEM team, I saw this. Okay, this is happening. Let's create a ticket. The firewall team, they will be working. This is what they were doing till now, not till now, just years before. So now we have one more part to it. We have the SOAR solution as well, the security orchestration, automated and response. What we are doing in SOAR, we are automating things. We are automating the incident response part here. Now, what is happening? Okay, same cases I'm taking. Okay, I saw a brute force login happening on a particular Windows machine. Previously, SIEM team was sitting there. They are just creating the ticket and assigning to them. Now, with the SOAR, I have the capability. I am integrating my Sentinel with the AD Active Directory there. I'm seeing, okay, brute force login is happening. I see more than 10 number of brute force login happening from this particular username. I can just create a SOAR playbook. The SOAR playbook says, okay, if this particular alert is triggering brute force login from this username, XYZ username, SOAR playbook will trigger, okay, I have to block this IP. Also, I have to block this username at the Active Directory. Blocking is happening automatically. You don't have to do anything. Second scenario. What was the second scenario? Malware form. Previously, SIEM team was working there, sitting on the console. They are saying, okay, malware has been found. I have to raise a ticket to the endpoint. Now, what I can do? I have the SOAR capability inbuilt now. I can write a playbook. Okay, whenever this kind of malware found, I can isolate the machine on the automatically. Machines, everything is integrated with Sentinel. They can get isolated automatically. You don't have to do anything, not much over it. Similarly, the last example I gave, I think, for suspicious connections from malicious IP address. Again, SOAR capability. I have integrated the firewall with my Sentinel. Now, automatically, I can push a command that whenever this suspicious connection from malicious IP address triggers, automatically block the IP address at the firewall. So this is what a SOAR capability is. I hope I have explained you guys in a very layman language and things are getting into your head. So we'll see the SOAR capability mostly in the end of the part when we understand the SIEM solution, the Sentinel part. So not as of now. I've just given a high level overview how these things are working nowadays into the SOC environment. So it's not the old traditional SOC where SIEM team just raising incidents and doing stuff. Now we have the SOAR capabilities as well. We are now moving towards automation. More towards automation. And when you go through the course, you will see how Microsoft Sentinel has automated most of the aspects of the security operations center. So yeah. So just explaining this diagram. So first thing is connecting data. Microsoft Sentinel is collecting data from across your organization. Whatever you push it to Sentinel, it is connecting it. It can detect threats. You can there are rules created. There are pre-built rules as well. There are more than 50 plus pre-built rules into the Sentinel. You can utilize them. You can, or if you want, you can write your own rules as well. Then Sentinel can investigate the alerts as well. It has the capability, guys, to investigate the alert, and it can respond to the alerts as well rapidly and automate protection. So these all are the some of the capabilities that are there. So, guys, any questions till now?
Yeah, Shaurkh. Yes, yes. 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 Yes, yes.
So
Abhi,
all
Uh,
these features are
now
inbuilt inside this one agent-based SIM, was like something
it's
which
not an
is
agent based. It's not an agent. It's just agents are there to onboard the data, but mostly Sentinel is into the field. I have to do it. So if I summarize Sentinel in a layman language, if to explain you guys, um, guys, can you go on mute, please? So if I summarize in a layman, just guys, one second. क्या कर रहा है लिंक दिया ना लिंक पे
I think your
yeah
voice is not clear.
so so
Shahrukh.
yeah, not
yeah
audible.
one second, one second. So what was the question guys? Okay, I was explaining in layman language. So if I say Sentinel in layman language guys, uh, in Splunk, in ArcSight, in previous traditional tools, what was there is a instance is required, a Linux machine or a Windows machine where you have to install the SIM solution. This SIM solutions, Splunk, ArcSight, whatever it is, and then run the show. You have to manage the back end, manage the front end, and number of tasks. So it's burdensome. What is happening in Sentinel? It is into the cloud. Microsoft guys are saying, guys, the backend we are handling. Don't have to worry about. Don't worry about the storage space. Don't worry about the upgrades. Don't worry about anything about the Sentinel. Come to our portal. We are giving you Sentinel. You launch it. You put your data in. We already have built-in use cases for you. We have already built in playbooks for you. We have already built in most of the dashboards for you. Just put your data in. Come on the console. Do your operation stuff. Create incidents, whatever you want. Rest of the things, give it to us. We are handling it at the back. Just come, put your data in, do the monitoring stuff, do the dashboarding stuff, whatever you want, create customized rule you want. That's all you have to do. So there is no backend overhead to you. I hope it is clear now. Whoever asked it.
One quick question for you, Shahrukh. Can we customize or modify the use cases or like inbuilt use cases that they have, or default use cases that is provided by the Sentinels?
Some of the use cases, yes, you can modify. Some of them you can't.
Okay,
I'll
because
show you.
yeah, let's suppose if there is an example of multiple failed logins account. So can we reset the timings, or you can say how we can number of attempts. So if we can leverage this opportunity, will be a better option
Yes,
as per
yes,
the environment.
yes. You can leverage it uh, anyhow, but best practice is to just duplicate that use case and disable the previous one, the native one that is into the center, and you can play with the new one. Just a second.
Yeah, Shahrukh, suppose for example, if I have multi environment like I have AWS cloud and also Google cloud, so even it will applicable for there also I can apply my store everything here.
Yes, SOAR capability to other cloud is limited as of now, but in Microsoft Sentinel it is fully functional. Microsoft Azure cloud it is fully functional. In other cloud there is limitations.
Okay.
Okay. That's right.
Shark, one question. Shark, usually in traditional based sims will have a receivers, right? Here also we'll have any instance which is acting as a collector in Sentinel.
Character, the agent you are talking, correct? The agent I
Yes,
have to talk.
yes.
Yes, yes, there
Ha,
is an agent.
okay.
We'll talk about more in detail. Don't worry. There are agents as well, plus there are system capability as well. You can directly send the data to the system also.
Oh, okay, Shark.
Okay, I think yeah. Any other question?
No, so far so good for me.
No,
Okay, let's move forward then. Guys, just give me a second. Let me have. So guys, this is the main slide now to give you a brief understanding and comparison with the native or the traditional SIEM solutions. Why Sentinel? We understood, okay, what is Sentinel, what is the SOAP capability at high level in the previous slide. Now, this slide explains why we are choosing Sentinel, why companies are going to Sentinel. First thing, traditional SIEM solution like Splunk, ArcSight, other tools, a number of Curator, they require a lot of setup and maintenance. There should be a separate experts into this domain who are going to onboard your data. Okay, previously there is a separate implementation team, and there is a separate admin team, and there is a third tier, that is SOC team. Just explain you guys how this SOC is working. Just I'll explain again. There is a SOC operations team who will manage these incidents, these alerts that are triggering. They will create the alerts, incidents, whatever it is. There is a separate admin team who will manage, for example, if there is a Splunk application running, ArcSight application is running, there is an administration team who will be responsible for upgrade of this ArcSight tool, upgrade of this Splunk tool. If there is any technical issue in this Splunk tool, any technical issue in ArcSight tool, there is an admin team who will be managing it. Okay. There is a third team as well that is called as the implementation team who will implement this solution from scratch. When a new project comes in, they will be the team, they will be the guys who will be implementing the solution from scratch. They will be onboarding the data. Three teams are there, correct? And this admin team, implementation team, we need these guys to be very expert to this tool. Now, when we talk about Sentinel, I told you that there is no backup there. There is you don't have to spend a lot of time in setup, in maintenance. It is not there. You just need a guy, 3-4 guys who are expert in Sentinel. If any use case needs to be written, dashboard needs to be written, that's all is required. So previously traditional SIEM solution require a lot of setup and maintenance, and there is a lot of expenditure in terms of software and hardware. You need a software also. For example, Splunk will get installed only on Windows 10 or Linux specific version, and they need 10 GB of, I'm just giving an example, 10 GB of RAM, 20 GB of, these all things are there previously, but now with Microsoft Sentinel, no worries. I can just go to the log into the Microsoft Cloud. I will, with the help of the just one click, I can get my Sentinel. That is one of the important aspects we have. Second thing is estimating for on-premise SIEM sizing can be tedious activity. Okay. Previously, when there were traditional SIEM solutions, I have to think about, okay, I will be ingesting around 1 TB of data per day. So I will be needing this specific amount of hard disk. Okay, I can't exceed much than that. If I'm exceeding, then I have to order a hard disk or I have to do a number of things. Now, again in Sentinel, no worries. With the help of one click, I can increase my storage to TBs, to petabytes as well. No worries on this front as well. Third point, previous SIEMs are not scalable and allow less flexibility to changes. So here he is talking about the licensing part as well. So previously, if you have bought a license, you have to stick to it. For example, 1 TB of data, if I'm ingesting, I have purchased a license of 1 TB per day of ingestion. So if I speak in layman language, the licensing is based on the amount of data you are ingesting into SIEM. So for example, in Splunk, I have bought 1 TB of a license, but I'm utilizing only 10 GB. So my license is getting wasted there. In Microsoft Sentinel, it is not like that. You can pay based on the usage. If I'm using 10 GB only, I can pay the amount for 10 GB only. Or if I'm going for long-term contract, okay, there is a discount with long-term contract. I'll explain you, so don't worry about it. If you are going with long-term contract with Microsoft, again, there are discounts already there. But again, if for example, I went into a contract with Microsoft that I will be using 1 TB I will be ingesting 1 TB of data per day for the next 3 months. If I'm not ingesting 1 TB also, if I'm ingesting less, they will be charging the amount of data that I'm ingesting. So this is the flexibility, the changes. And if I don't want to get into a contract with them, I want to cancel it on the go, I can cancel it on the go as well. I'll not be charged for that. So these are some of the things. Fourth point, tough to monitor cloud data, especially hybrid structure. So see, this Splunk solution, a number of the traditional SIEMs, they are mostly created to monitor the on-premise environment. For example, the data center, my Windows devices into the data center, or on-premise, we call it on-premise or data center. Hello guys, my voice is audible clearly or voice is breaking? Please let me know.
No,
Is it clear?
it's for me okay.
Voice is audible, but it's a little shattering inside the voice. But it's okay. It's fine.
Okay. So yeah, see the traditional SIM solutions were created to monitor the traditional devices. Now we are moving to a hybrid structure where most of the devices are to the cloud, some are on premise. So to manage this stuff, or you can say to monitor the newer devices who are there into the cloud, we need a we need a new solution. We need a cloud-based solution where things are designed specifically to the environment. So we have the center. So I'll show you once we log into the central. I'll show you you can check out the use cases that are created there, the alerts basically you can see them. Uh, First point, storage become too heavy on the pocket. So if you are with the traditional SIM solution, storage is becomes too heavy. You have to pay for the hard disk as well as the data that you are ingesting. But here it's not like that. So there is very minimal costs. I will talk about the costing in I think the second session or the third session. Most probably tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We'll talk about this costing. Don't worry. Slow and less efficient data monitoring, long query response time. So it's not a valid point, but yes, some of the tools, for example, ArcSight, if you are writing a very long query, it is taking some time to fetch data and show to you. But in Sentinel, it's not like that. That the response time is very fast. If I'm writing any kind of query for a larger amount of data, I'm getting the response. Threat hunting is manual, guys. There is a small aspect of threat hunting. In traditional SIM solutions, you have to do the threat hunting, but it is manual. If you are looking for a specific threat, you have to do the threat hunting manual way. Okay. How the threat hunter approach. But in Microsoft Sentinel, guys, they have redefined the paradigm. They have completely redefined it. They have completely automated it. Once we go to the portal, I'll show you. So they have pre-written all these specific queries that are related to threat hunting. For example, they have separate 300 threat hunting queries. You can run them on in one go and you can see whether there is any kind of threat present in your environment. They have redefined it. I'll show you. They have made it automatic as well. The last point, data ingestion is complex. I remember my past days when I was working with ArcSight. So in 2014, 2017, 2014, 2017, there was era of ArcSight. So when I was in the implementation team. When we go for implementation, at that time, for example, I have to onboard the devices for a company called Wipro. The complete onboarding takes more than three to 4 months. We were just doing the onboarding part. After 4 months, the operation goes live. That was the era of ArcSight. Now automation is coming into picture. They are nowadays what is happening. They are automation is coming into the picture. They are redefining the things. They are making their tool efficient. So 2017 to 2020, the era of Splunk, where things are automated. This new tool Splunk was there. So the implementation time was decreased to 1 month. For example, again, there is a company called XYZ. I have to it maximum was taking 1 month to onboard to Splunk. Now, right now, we are sitting in the era of complete cloud platforms. We have Microsoft Sentinel. If I'm going to onboard devices or onboard a company, or you can say a project to Microsoft Sentinel, it's not taking more than 10 days to onboard. That's where the time frame has decreased of the onboarding the devices. So that is what data ingestion is not complex here. It's very easy. Previously, for onboarding a single device, it used to take days in ArcSight. Now, with a single click, when we see the onboarding part, don't worry, when we see the onboarding part, with a single click, I can onboard the data of Microsoft AD or whatever. Okay. So, guys, that's all. That's all. Why we are choosing Sentinel. So, Sentinel is overcoming all the challenges and it provides a cost-effective SIM service. That's why most of the organization nowadays are moving towards Sentinel. I am working in an IT, you can say the IT cybersecurity firm. I have clients on QRadar and upside. They are telling us, boss, please move us to Sentinel. That is where we are being more cost effective and we are being more fast. Or we have a cloud environment. We want a cloud native SIM solution. That is one aspect to it. What I have seen, I've talked to my leadership as well, the senior guys in my organization also. So what approach these Microsoft guys are doing is, see, guys, in each and every organization, Microsoft Teams is getting used, Microsoft Outlook is getting used. Okay, most of the Microsoft devices are there. So they already have a connection with most of the organization. So they are selling the Sentinel at a discounted rate to them. I can't quote it exactly, but being with a relationship with our already existing organization, for example, Microsoft, if I'm purchasing something from there, they are giving me discount already. That by boss, you buy the Sentinel, we can give you at a very discount. So that's where most of the organization are also adopting this. That is a different aspect. So if you're going for interview, don't answer this question like this. Just I'm telling you the real picture what is happening behind the scenes. So yeah, any questions, guys? Are we good till now? Spoke about. Guys, are we good till now? Or should I proceed to the next?
Yes, we are good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we are good to move forward.
Let's move to the next slide. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now, okay, we talked about the syllabus. Then we talked about the Microsoft Sentinel. We talked about what is Sentinel, why is Sentinel. Then now the next question is okay, we talked about the basics of Azure as well, Microsoft Azure as well. Now let's launch the Sentinel SIEM solution. Before that, just I want to show you one more thing. Guys, if you haven't registered for a Microsoft account, please do register for it and go to the private window. You can register for Microsoft free account. So if you have a, basically it requires a credit card. Previously I checked, it was not accepting RuPay cards, but if you have a Visa or MasterCard, you can easily register for a Microsoft account. Yeah, so here it is. So please do register there. There are already a number of videos there for registering the Microsoft Azure account. For registering a Microsoft Azure account, please do check out. It's very simple step-to-step process is there. So go there and just register your free account. So just one more important thing, guys. See, this is the page. I'm pasting the link in the chat window. There, register yourself. It requires a debit or credit card. It should be master or Visa. So start free and register yourself. It says that the popular services are free for 12 months and you get a 200 Azure credit as well. Just keep one thing in mind. Microsoft Sentinel is a premium service. So some of the services are premium. So they give a trial version only for 1 month. So please let me keep this in mind. So you get a free trial version of Microsoft Sentinel. So yeah, moving back to the global prerequisite. So okay, if I need a Microsoft Sentinel, what all are the things that are required? First thing is you should have an active Azure subscription. Then there is a log analytics workspace. We'll talk about it just a few seconds afterwards. Then you need to enable Azure Sentinel. You need a contributor permission. So there are separate permissions: contributor, owner. So you need the contributor permission to this specific subscription, whatever subscription you are into. Then yeah, some specific permissions are also. So these three things are. Now, this is the most important thing. How the Sentinel will look and what is the architecture of Sentinel. Basically, the question that I'm answering right now is what is the architecture of Sentinel. And there are two things. What is log analytics workspace and log analytics by log analytics workspace. So guys, if I speak in layman language, for example, this is my Microsoft Cloud. Suppose this is my Microsoft Cloud. I just put now I want to launch a Sentinel. Sentinel will not be launched directly. What I need here is first I need a storage, correct? So I will launch a log analytics workspace. We call it log analytics workspace. It's a kind of storage. Okay, first thing is I'm launching a log analytics workspace, and on top of which I can launch a Sentinel. This is my Sentinel. So what is happening? For example, I have VM machines in this cloud. Machines are there. There is an Azure Active Directory, AAD, we call it AAD. In Azure, we call the Active Directory as Azure Active Directory, and there are no VM machines. Database, whatever it is. And suppose I'm a very bigger organization, for example, Tesla, just written inside. I have an on-premise data center also, or you can say on-premise organization. Some company XYZ. I have one in US or whatever location it is. I have laptops here. Guys, I'm just creating a very simple example so that you can understand. I have databases here. A number of devices are. Now, what I want basically is I want to onboard the data into Sentinel, into the SIEM solution. So what I have to do basically, I have to first, I'll be deploying agents somewhere. Agents will be deployed somewhere. Somewhere there is a direct service to service integration. We'll talk about it in a later class when we talk about the onboarding part. I'm just explaining in layman language. I'll tell this VM boss, forward your data to log analytics workspace. I'll tell this AAD, send the data to the log analytics workspace. Similarly for this machine, this log analytics workspace. This on-premise data center, send data to log analytics workspace. Similarly for this one as well. Now, all the data is getting stored in the log analytics workspace. What my Sentinel is doing, Sentinel is reading the data. It's just reading the data. There are rules written here, the alerts basically, and the alerts are getting triggered whenever there is a match basically. So what Sentinel is doing at a high level, it is just reading the data stored in the log analytics workspace. So that is what it is at a high level. Or to guys to understand this thing, it took me around 25 to 30 days. How this architecture is working. This was a lot of confusion to me, but later after a lot of research, I got it clean. So log analytics workspace, you can think of it as a storage where all your data is residing. Sentinel is just like an object or an add-on who is reading data from the log analytics workspace. That's what the architecture is. Let me launch a Sentinel, then you will have a more clearer picture. So just hold on. If you have any doubt, I'll definitely go to answer. This is my Microsoft Azure. A number of services are there. And if you want to check the subscription, I talked about subscription, correct? So this is the subscription. When you have registered a free account, there should be a free trial subscription here. So all the resource group will be under this subscription. So if you want to create a new resource group, it's good if you create a new resource group. So it's better so that you can group things together. So you can here create a new resource group. For example, click on create. That's how you create a resource group. The subscription, if you have multiple subscription, you can select them, but I'm into a free trial subscription. So what will be my container name? Testing training Splunk. You can name it anything. You can select the region as well where this resource group should be, container should be. So I can select any of the region, for example, East US, and then review, and then create. Sometimes it is taking a bit of time, for example, 1 minute or 2 minutes. So hold on, you can check the progress here. So whether it's done resource group create. So I can see resource group. I can go inside it and I can see what all resources are there. So there are more resources. Okay. So now next thing what I have to do, my main agenda here is to show you this thing is I want to do why I bring you to this portal is I want to show you how to launch Microsoft Sentinel. So there are two things. I have created a resource group. Okay, there is a subscription called free trial. There is a resource group called training school. Now the thing is to launch Sentinel. What you can do? You can directly click on Sentinel. Here you can search from the search bar. You can click on Microsoft Sentinel. There is no active Microsoft Sentinel, so you have to launch a new one. Guys, see how easy it is. Just follow me. I just have to create Microsoft Sentinel. Now see, it's asking that add Microsoft Sentinel to a workspace. Guys, I have explained you this screen, correct? It needs a log analytics workspace to launch a Microsoft Sentinel. Right now there is no workspace, so first you have to create a new workspace. Workspace needs to be created first. So create a new workspace. Again, you can select, see what I'm doing. I am creating a log analytics workspace, the storage part here, before creating the center. First part I'm doing is log analytics workspace. Subscription free trial. Resource group, I can select the one, trading Splunk. Instance name, storage for central, you can name it anything. East US, okay, review it. So it is now clearing itself, so just hold on. It might take one. Okay, see, okay, validation passed and then validate. So it is going to create the log analytics workspace. Initializing deployment, so hold on. It will show shortly. Let's see. Meanwhile, guys, if you have any questions, please. It is not deployment succeeded. Now, guys, I have created log analytics workspace. That is good. Now I wanted to add Microsoft Sentinel, so I can just click on this and then click on add. So adding Microsoft Sentinel to this workspace. See, Microsoft Sentinel is ready now. See, Microsoft Sentinel is ready. Within, I think, maximum 5 minutes, I've launched Sentinel. I'm ready to play with it. Incident stamp, printing, and things like that. So, guys, that's all I have for today.